Hit it.
I'm liking these pictures, by the way. Were these up last week? I listened to last week, but I did not technically see last week.
What last week?
Oh, the last session.
There wasn't a session.
There was nothing.
No, okay, with the last
session.
Yeah.
Yes, we saw these.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I listened to it, but more like in an MP3 format than actually on YouTube.
On the bottom is the Leviathan, the spaceship bar.
Are we talking
The
about Velda
Rhapsody.
City here?
Yeah,
but the picture on the bottom, you said that was the one where the actual like bar or whatever it was, right?
Oh yes. Bottom.
Oh,
bottom
wow,
right.
we
yes,
have a-
yes.
We have a big bar.
It's huge.
Yeah, we're kind of a big deal.
Yeah, we're kind of a big deal right now.
What do we use the rest of the building for? We like
I gave you a tour.
We do.
Yeah.
We do furious stuff in there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I guess in my head I imagined it much smaller.
No,
Well,
we
why-
have
That's
bar.
why I prefer the imaginations over the pictures. But the pictures are decent tools sometimes.
I'm just
Okay,
impressed
I've
with my own
tweeted.
bar.
I've tweeted. I'm going to just log out and retweet.
I will also.
So let's rock and roll. Party time.
Hello, everyone. Sorry,
Hello.
we're a little late.
Hi.
but
Yeah,
we're
like
here.
3 weeks late.
Yeah.
I have a
No, people
full-grown
knew we weren't
beard.
playing for Gen Con, and then I had a horrible.
And
I
beautiful
don't know.
TM.
See, here's the problem. Stomach flu and food poisoning are sometimes so similar to each other, with only one exception, which I won't get into details, that when you do a self-diagnosis, you don't know what's... Regardless. Okay. So, well, here we are in wonderful Velda City in the Sable Dimension, in which strange magic permeates the entire land, changing, morphing both the visuals and the clothing and some of the items of our characters. When we last left off, you guys were on the hunt for something called a golden rabbit, an item that Tyrath, the immortal, is looking for. And in exchange for it, he would be able to give you some assistance and some necessary advice in order to help track down the individuals who know this strange alien force, this alien entity that knows about the swarm that is going to be plaguing the earth very soon. And in the hopes of hunting down this golden rabbit, you talked to a bit of a ruffian. He deals kind of this informal, illegal lottery on the streets of Velda City called Sharktooth. He let you know, he suggested that if you're looking for it, there was 2 major leads that you could do. The first is to find a private detective in which to help you hunt down this item. And also, if it was the item of great physical value, an eccentric recluse private collector by the name of Frank Patterson have that in his possession. Using these 2 leads, you decided to hire a detective, and after going through some of your options, you focused on a detective named Dex Delaney, a fellow who was a little bit haunted by his past. And sure enough, you struck up a deal with him to help find the golden rabbit. And of course, when he finds any leads, he'll be sure to let you know. Before you decided to check up with this Frank Patterson collector, you decided to hit the library, the local library, to kind of learn a little bit more of the history of this particular area, the mannerisms, and anything else that might be of interest. Browsing through the tomes, Patrick came across a book called A Peculiar Treasure by an author named Edna Ferber. And it was really an autobiography of herself. She's a very popular fictional writer, and a lot of her fiction was inspired to when she was young, when she was a young girl, and had a variety of fanciful. Oh my goodness,
Fanciful?
fanciful. Thank you. Fanciful stories. Oh my goodness, it's always good when your GM can't see.
You just
speak
gotta
English.
shake off those
I
cobwebs.
had a great Porky Pig impression there for a moment. But okay, anywho, as promised last session, I'm going to give you a little bit more details as to a specific passage in this book called A Peculiar Treasure, because there was something that did hint towards a golden rabbit. So, Patrick and whomever you would share this information with, this is kind of a bit of a synopsis. One of my many inspirations to write, one of my deepest influences would be from my uncle Eugene Neal, my mother's brother. Some might recognize the name from his most controversial passing, as well as the publicized search for his final work, his prized golden statuette. But I refuse to remember him as such. Instead, I choose to remember him as he was for most of his life, a talented craftsman who would sit at my bedside when I was a young girl and tell me the most fantastic stories as I would drift off to dreamland. I have a feeling that perhaps those tales dug at my unconscious, spurring me on to weave my own. It is to this man that this book is dedicated, to a high-spirited, creative, brilliant man whose only fault, at least in my mind, was perhaps that he had too much of an interest, an obsession, to put it more starkly, in perfectly perpendicular angles. The stories go on in a variety of chapters of her life growing up and some of the inspirations for her tales and her grand adventures and all that stuff. But that little snippet there, that little dedication to her great uncle Eugene Neal, and talking about a prize golden statuette, is the closest connection to this golden rabbit that you're looking for.
Got a name. Got a name.
Maybe.
Anyone? Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after your time here at the library, I did end last session. If you guys had any questions about the culture or the history of this area, if you still have some questions, mannerisms that you want to know, please let me know. And here, and Squee is so eager. Let's lay it on there. Lay it on there.
I am curious. I need to ask a question of the GM first.
Okay. The GM is ready for your question.
In Al's
Proceed.
upbringing in Chi-Town, is the coalition are men and women treated equally there? Would seeing the way they treat Ellie be unusual or surprising to him?
Yeah, I mean, there's always some general social norms in the far future, but not ironically, but the coalition, I guess, is much more egalitarian than this setting. So it would be peculiar to you, sure, yeah.
Then Al, because this kind of strikes him as curious, he would be looking into what's going on. Why? Because to him it's like what? But this doesn't make, or at least maybe he's seen that kind of thing, but not to this level, and it just doesn't make sense to him that it's so extreme.
Well,
so he'd be looking for that kind of thing.
Well, you can find some etiquette books on how men and women are expected to behave and dress and all that good stuff. But those are just etiquette books. Those are just like, these are the ways you should be in order to fit in. But it doesn't give you like a history of like why they believe that or anything like that.
Yeah, I think Al, in his naivety, would probably go more towards what's the history of the government? Like, are there things like you know what? That's a good way. He'd be looking up the history of this place's government to see where in that line it said, and this is why we treat them separately. I'm assuming he won't find it, but that's in his naivety where he would be looking.
Gotcha. Well, this would require some long-term research, something that won't be able to be fulfilled the couple hours you want to spend here in the library, but it can be a long-term goal if you constantly, visit it and read up.
No, I think he would probably just not find what he's looking for and assume that it's either not here or, again, this might not be a real world, so maybe it's not there to be found. So he after the few hours, he'd probably give up.
Take exception to say that this isn't a real world. This seems pretty real to everyone that's living in it.
Yes, but I mean, from Al's point of view, he's not sure if this is real or not.
Real worlds are in color. Saying.
They could be in the Matrix.
Wow.
This is required for reality.
Spiral has a compelling counter argument.
He does.
Dimensional political statements happening.
I think dogs would disagree. So.
Dogs should be able to vote.
Dogs
Okay,
should be able to-
anywho.
Where's Hannibal?
That's the big question, actually. Hannibal isn't around, nor is the Falcon.
Oh.
Yeah.
For Laban. They have not yet arrived at the Rhapsody, or their whereabouts are currently unknown.
Dang it.
However, any other questions that might be answered for these couple hours that you're here at the library? If not, no big deal. We can continue on.
Yeah. Would Al give Ellie those etiquette books? Because Ellie had.
Just say yes, Al. You have the power to have
like
this
do
happen.
it.
Thing.
He's muted. The poor sap.
I
Squee.
guess it doesn't matter. She'll just live in ignorance. It's more amusing this way. I'll allow it. Continue.
No,
Okay.
Sashay away.
No, we can ask Squee once he gets back here all of a sudden. So.
I am sorry. What's up?
Oh my god.
I asked if Al would Ellie those etiquette books he found.
Seeing how you've reacted so far, Al definitely would not. He does not want to be seen as trying to convince Ellie to behave a certain way.
Okay.
He would just quietly put them away because from his mind he'd be like, what if she thinks I'm trying to say you got to act this way? So nope. He would put them back.
All right. Fair enough.
I do have a question since we're at the library.
Yeah, me.
Can we borrow books?
Pardon me?
Can we borrow books from the library?
Yes, you'd have to fill out an application for a library card, but a thing called the library card. But if you're willing to, it's very simple information: your name, your birthday, your address, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. I will fill that out and write in my birthday as 25 years ago, so Tom is 25 or something like that. And put the residence as where the Rhapsody is and whatnot. I'm interested in borrowing books based on making alcohol, because if I recall correctly, we have a still.
Let me think here.
And
Lavin is suddenly very interested in what Tom.
yeah, this is
interesting because you were told a couple years back, about 5 or so years back, there was this thing called prohibition.
Yeah.
That said no sale for alcohol. But oh my goodness. I mean, people read a lot of books of stuff.
That's true.
Okay, tell you what.
Should I make a roll?
I'll give an 80% chance that you'll be able to find some sort of homemade or ingredient or recipe for alcohol.
All right.
Alcoholic beverage. So I'm gonna roll 1d100. If it gets under 80, then we're good. Sound fair?
Yes.
Just barely.
Barely.
But
Right.
yes, you are able to find two books in that break down. One is more scientifically minded, breaking down the chemical components in order to make alcohol. And if you you can make pure alcohol, then you can mix it with a bunch of other stuff. But
Yeah.
what you're really looking for is it's called the Bartender's Little Black Book. And ironically, it's not a little black book. It's this large brown leather bound novel that, sure enough, has ways of making wine and spirits at home.
Mm-hmm.
And you figure if you mess around a bit with the quantities, you could probably churn out quite a bit of booze.
Sweet. Oh. All right. So I know what Tom's doing on his days off and such in his free time.
Okie dokie. So, now when we left off last session, you guys were intent on visiting this Frank Patterson's 3-story townhouse. Are you guys still intent on doing that, or do you want to do something else?
Sounds good to me.
I'm cool
Yeah,
with
I'm
it.
down.
Okay, all right.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, thanks to the cabbie that you first hired when you arrived on this dimension into Velda City, you do have yourselves a map of the area. So you're able to follow down the streets and whatnot to, sure enough, find the address of this Frank Patterson character. I'm going to just go ahead and kind of narratively push us forward. You get into your vehicles and drive through the bright streets of Velda City. There's quite a bit of traffic. You have to wait a minute or two as a few town cars go on by, and whoever is driving, whom would be driving at this point?
A whole bunch of piloting skills. I think it. I don't.
Is one of them for
Positive.
automobiles?
I think so. Yeah,
Patrick?
actually.
Go ahead and
Uh,
check.
Or Lavin.
I'm guilty of not having my character sheet open. So you'll.
I just always assume Patrick's driving Ellie somewhere.
If I was
Driving
given a
Ellie.
vehicle, Patrick would be driving at some facet. One of these vehicles.
Sure.
Would they drive? I guess they would drive a little bit differently than.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, I can pilot an automobile.
Okay.
Cool.
So we'll
So-
say, because you did have a few vehicles in the back of the Rhapsody that you had access to, you're assuming they are the ATVs that have somehow been polymorphed, for lack of a better word. So we'll say Lavin has one and Patrick has one. And although I would like both of you to roll me a piloting check, and I'd like you to get aggro.
I can do the piloting check, but
Okay, do a piloting check real quick. Just make it harder by 20. Dad, stop
Yeah.
rolling your piloting check and deal with me.
What?
Yeah. Okay, BRB.
That was our cute moment for the stream, everyone.
I am curious on how my vehicle is, if that might be a.
What the vehicle is?
So if it was of my vehicle, mine has been heavily modified in the first, in
Back on Earth?
Back on Earth, thank you. That it was actually like kind of made from scrap parts, as well as like the back of it's like a giant basket. Does that even show up, or is it very like, this is a vehicle that has been, it's supposed to fit in with the rest of them?
Well, the style of the vehicle fits in with everything else. Although Al's sister Jalea, when she was looking over the vehicles, did notice that there was a huge amount of scrap next to one of them. But for the looks of it, there doesn't seem to be any sort of weaponry on the vehicles themselves. So I guess the shorter answer is it's pretty much morphed into something conventional at the time.
Okay.
There's no weapons or any sort of large modifications that are visible. In fact, you don't even know if these actually are your vehicles that were aboard the Rhapsody, or if they're just local vehicles themselves. You started digging around, but then it'll be difficult to drive. Regardless,
that is true.
yes. Regardless, I'm gonna just wait a moment for. Oh, I think maybe that's 11, and there he is.
Yeah.
Should
Okay,
we-
so
just real quick, because now I'm really sure that Hannibal hasn't been found. Should we just kind of as a passing note to the private investigator, if he manages to see like a lost dog, to let us know?
Yeah.
I guess we could go to the pound. You guys want to go to the pound at some point?
We
So we
could-
need you to find us a rare golden bunny and a dog if you happen to see him.
well,
Hannibal's a beloved character.
I know.
Want
He
to lose
is.
him. And what was
I
the
know.
other? Oh, it was the falcon.
Yes.
That thing's too is kind of important, I guess.
Oddly enough, Lavin is not terribly concerned because this world doesn't even have colors, so who knows where those things have gone, and
Yeah.
could be like any number of reasons. So
Okay.
Aw.
So you'll keep an eye out for any location of Hannibal or lost dogs or anything like that on your way to this person's place, and maybe after you're done visiting, you'll have a more of a vehement search.
I like that idea. Good plan.
Yeah,
Good
I
plan,
like
good
that
plan.
too.
Okay. Well, now that you said that you're making a note of keeping an eye out. I would like all of you intending on doing so. That isn't driving, so not Lavin and not Patrick.
Yeah, I was definitely not planning on doing that.
Yeah, because you're focusing on the road. You almost hit a passenger. I mean, not a passenger, a pedestrian. You
It's
had
hit
to
me.
swerve out of the way.
So I missed something. We're both driving? No
Driving
wonder
a
we're having
vehicle
so much
apiece.
trouble. Oh, we have
No,
two.
not at the same time. A vehicle apiece.
Just slap him upside the head
God,
like
I'm-
Skipper to Gilligan.
I wish I could, but I can't.
That's
No, I don't want to do that. But yeah, they're really concentrating on
violent.
trying to drive these vehicles and dealing with these weird traffic lights and stop signs and something called a right of way. There's a lot of people yelling at you as you're driving. This is just very, very frustrating. But for Squee, would Al be keeping an eye out?
Yeah, I think so.
So I would like Al, Tom, and Ellie. Roll me a. Hold up a second. There's not really a thing. Okay, we'll do a skill check as far as perception goes. Make the threshold 40% on this, with the exception of Ellie, because she has extremely good vision, like hawk-like vision. I'm gonna make hers easier by 20. So roll D100. Cran, if you get 60 or under, you succeed. Al and Burn, if you get 40 and under, you succeed. Tom, well,
Yeah.
this is at the very least very appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So, sure enough, as we're going to say, as your vehicles are idling by one of these stop signs, and Lavin is in the middle of trying to adjust the gears between it while things are stopped, you do notice on a telephone pole a white piece of paper that has been stapled onto it. And sure enough, it says, "Found puppy." And then in large blocky letters, it looks like it was a handwritten sign, is a description of a dog that is black and white, probably a border collie, very friendly, looks to be a few years old, and was found as a stray, but instead of taking it to the pound, is currently found at 72 Ashland Avenue in Velda City, where a local family is taking care of it. And pretty much the notice continues, if this is your dog, please come on by and pick him up.
Fantastic.
That's him. That's him.
Well, there's no picture because it's
We'll have to see.
1937, so it's just a verbal description. But Hannibal didn't have any sort of tags or anything on him, did he?
No, not as far as I'm aware.
Well, I guess the only other indication is that the sign also does say this thing doesn't, like, because actually you wouldn't know if dogs normally had tags on them.
No.
So the sign doesn't say anything about, like, his name is Rex or his name is Rover. What his name is.
Barks a lot.
Yeah. if that is him and we get him back, we're getting him a collar. I think.
Oh, good idea. Good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll go on a shopping trip, Bird. Okay,
Doesn't
we
that-
got plans. We have plans.
I mean, doesn't that seem kind of mean? Just sticking a collar on a dog like that?
Squee, you're voted off the island again. Let's continue.
I'm saying that in character
Oh.
because where we're
You're
from, that's probably not a common thing.
No, but if you look around, some people walking their dogs and stuff, they have
Yeah,
collars on them.
leashes.
They have
I mean,
leashes and stuff.
Yeah.
They're all over.
Fit in.
It's also a way to
This is
identify
Kriana.
our dog.
I'm sorry, I should be in character.
Yeah.
I mean, Al, if you want to, like, permanently dye his fur to say Hannibal, then
Yeah,
Maybe.
okay. I'll go for the collar over that. But
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Maybe I don't know. I just think if I were wearing a collar, I would not like it. But yeah,
Well,
we do have to fit in.
You know what? Maybe I'll get a collar too. And that way we'll know if it's morally ethical or not.
You know, probably you've gotten lost more times than Hannibal.
Actually, it's a good idea. Let's get a collar for Hannibal and myself, just to be safe.
As a player, Al can't really argue against this logic.
We will cross that bridge when we get there. In the meantime, so where do you guys, with this new information, just as your GM, just question for the people driving the vehicle, you're still heading towards this eccentric recluse Frank Patterson's place? Or are you going to head over to Ashland Avenue to check out the dog?
I'm assuming Lavin wouldn't have seen this dog.
Yeah, he wouldn't. Yeah,
So
yeah,
busy.
yeah.
So
in
unless somebody
character, they
tells me
wouldn't watch.
something, then I'm just gonna go where I was.
No, let's go afterwards to
Okay.
get the dog.
yeah.
Sure. Okay, so a few more awkward intersections later, sure enough, you're able to pull your vehicles up upon the curb, down in this lovely little area. Whoop, give me a second. Just off of downtown. On the corner of the street is this wonderful pillared home dominating a corner itself. It definitely appears that someone very affluent and influential may live here, since it stands out in stark contrast to many of the homes that you and townhouses that you passed on by. Double checking the brass 303 at the front of the mailbox of the abode, you can confer that you are at the location. At first glance, there are a few things that do stick out compared to some of the other residences. The first is that the lawn doesn't seem to be very well manicured. Although the grass is cut, there's absolutely no flowers in the flower beds, and the trees themselves don't look very healthy. The second and most striking observation is that every single window has its blinds and shutters closed shut and tight. A large wooden door stands in the dominating the foyer, and even with Ellie's excellent hearing, not a peep can be heard from inside the house from your current location.
Well, let's go check it out. Ellie like nonchalantly gets out of the car, slams it shut,
Mm-hmm.
and starts marching over the door. She doesn't see anything wrong about this.
Yeah,
Okey
Al will
dokey.
nod and follow.
Tom
Alright.
will follow as well.
Wonderful.
I will use this stick to go into park and then get out of the car.
Okay, you manage it. I'm assuming Lavin is
Yeah,
also
yeah.
coming with. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. The route goes up to the doorway. When you arrive there, what would you guys like to do?
Ellie will look for some kind of door knocker. If not, she'll just use her fist.
There is a metal door knocker dominating there. It appears to be made of wrought iron of a simple little twist design along the knocker itself.
Oh,
Yeah.
she'll kind of reach over and daintily pick it up and then drop it so it makes a little ding sound, and then she will continuously do that.
For how long?
Well, until someone stops her or someone hears it from inside, I guess.
Okay. So now this is interesting. This is very interesting. So Ellie gives a couple knocks. You guys can see, gives a couple knocks, and then she keeps going and keeps going. And for like 30 seconds, it's just knock, 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 ding, 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 ding. And at first, there's no response. She keeps on going, ding, 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 ding. And then finally, after about what you can only imagine is a couple minutes straight of this, you
Everyone's
do
blind
hear
except
some shuffling on the other side of the door. And the door itself doesn't open. The door itself doesn't unlock. A small piece of paper written with a simple shaky message in pencil on it slides underneath the door. And it simply says, "Go away."
Ow. Ow.
Ooh.
Ellie will like
The
lean
piece
down
of
and
paper
pick
is
it up.
still there underneath the door. You can pick it up.
Does anybody have something to scribble, something to write with?
Tom will take out a pencil and hand it over to her.
Thank you. And Ellie will rest the paper up against the door so she has something, a surface to write upon, and her teammates will see that she writes no, and then she stuffs it underneath the door and awaits for a response.
You swear for a moment you hear some sort of derisive snort on the other end of the door as you hear the crinkle of paper come on by. There's a pause for quite some time. A piece of paper slides underneath the door. This time, it says, "What do you want?"
Pick it up again. She will rest the paper against the door, and her teammates will see her write down upon the paper, "I forgot," and then stuff it underneath the door.
God damn it! Okay.
Tom,
you
hold
sign
on.
anything?
She's
Okay,
having a
go-
conversation. Let her
Okay.
write.
Tom is laughing hysterically in the background. He'll
Okay. Piece of paper disappears underneath there after a couple more moments.
Wait. Lavin says to Brianna,
Kelly.
Hi, I'm suddenly in this world.
wait. So,
Do
do you need this guy to help you remember something?
Yes. Why we came here. I was hoping he could tell me.
Okay.
Let's just wait. This is fun. It's like a little game. I think I'm gonna win.
Another slip of paper comes underneath the door, and you recognize it being the first piece of paper again. But this time, under the words "go away," it's underlined twice, and there's an exclamation point at the end.
Ellie kind of smiles warmly at the piece of paper, takes it, writes where it says no, where she previously wrote, she's going to underline an exclamation point again, push it back underneath the door, and then as she's doing so, when she gets up, she leans over to whoever's next to her and says, "This is all just a test. We just got to be persistent. I feel it. I feel it." Also, copying his movements makes him feel more comfortable with us. It's a whole sociological method, I'm sure.
Nothing
Robo
about,
agrees.
nothing about exclamation marks makes people feel comfortable. Saying.
I don't know what a what? You don't think so? I think it's kind of like a very passionate sort of plea.
Yeah,
That
no
I-
with exclamation marks. That's very comforting.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
She will
Out
start
from the
taking
corner.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say if there's no response after a while, she'll start doing the thing with the door handle again.
Okay. If there is no response for a little while, then you start knocking again. Then you could swear. Wait, let me make sure I'm in the right layer. There we go. Then you could swear that outside the second story window, above where the door is, you see the blinds open up a little bit, and you see a single eye poking out from it. Gray eye poking out, looking down. And the second you guys look up and notice the movement, you can see a bit of a startled jostle from the eye, and the blind closes immediately.
Now,
You
why
hear-
did I think of that before? Ellie will start climbing the walls to see if there are any,
Oh
to see
no!
if there are any windows that are unlocked.
That's what
especially
I was
on the
just gonna
second
do.
Floor. Yeah.
So I'm looking
Oh.
for windows that are open.
What's Ellie wearing right now? Did she go back to wearing like
Pants and
pantsuits?
suit.
I don't
Okay,
remember.
yeah.
I think it is a pantsuit. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
While that's happening, Patrick will go up to the door and give 2 hearty knocks and wait patiently.
No, Ellie, please, can I give me my pencil? But okay.
Oh, here you go. She'll just drop it.
No, son
It
of.
breaks in half.
It falls into the dirt that would be the garden.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Lavin, are you checking the perimeter to see if there's any doors any windows on the ground level that are unlocked? And Ellie's gonna try to scale this brick-sided building.
Yes, or any windows that are open, which probably there aren't, even if they're on the ground. But basically, any other way in, because I'm assuming.
Okay.
Do we even check if the door was freaking locked? Can we just walk in?
No.
Okay, well, I check that first.
That would be
Just
rude.
open the damn door.
Okay. You twist the handle, and sure enough, it is locked.
Okay.
It doesn't open.
So I'm looking for any other way in.
Okay, guys, maybe we shouldn't give the impression that we're trying to break into this house.
We just
You're
want
just
to
looking
talk.
right now.
I get that, but if someone were to see us, that's not what it would look like we're doing.
No, we're the Fast and Furious. I don't remember what our names are.
Too fast, too furious. You got it.
Jesus Christ! I went to turn on my fan for 1 second. And I come back to this. What did you say?
We're
the Fast and the Furious. We have nothing to say.
Oh, you're the Ferocious Five. God
Thank you.
damn it!
Jesus
Begin
Christ!
with an F.
Al goes, yeah, no, I get that. I just think that
We just want
Drawing-
to talk.
then climbing up their windows is not the way to make them talk.
If
I
it's
think-
unlocked, then whose fault is that? This is a
Ours.
lesson. Also, Al, what did I say? No, Ellie's like hanging off like the building, looking down at him, and she's like, "What did I say? He went up to the window and looked out. Did you see that? Now, if he is comfortable with talking to me on a different floor, that might work better for our situation, don't you think?
No, the fact that he saw us and then closed the window suggests that he's not comfortable talking to us.
I don't understand.
I have no qualms with making people feel uncomfortable.
That's nice, but I do have qualms getting arrested when all we want to do is talk to someone. Breaking into their house is not the best way to do
We're
it.
not breaking into someone's house if it's unlocked.
Yes,
Yes,
we
it
are.
is. That is the definition.
I like to think that like this conversation, Ellie is already like 2 feet up the wall.
That's true.
Also-
Like, I imagine her feet are dangling like 2 feet above my head.
Yeah.
Also,
Well, let me just check the window.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
We did all of this after the radio interview, right?
After the what?
Remember, there was a
Yes.
radio interview, and then we went to the investigator.
Yes. Oh,
Okay,
yes.
so Ellie's still in her ball gown?
Was it a ball gown?
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
got
you
a
got
pretty
it.
dress.
Okay, so this changes that her feet is dangling above Al's face, and he's doing his best not to look up.
Oh, it's just bloomers.
Jeez.
Actually,
Yeah, you
I
wouldn't be able
wait,
to see
no, I
anything.
forgot. I didn't want to
1930s
wear bloomers.
Oh
So,
no.
Oh no.
Fall
Al's,
commando under
like-
there, Al. Good
Like,
luck.
yeah, like I imagine like Al looked up at the start of the conversation, and the whole time he's been looking down, like his cheeks flushed. He's just like, yes, it is still breaking in.
Okay, so
Well,
so Patrick gives a couple thumps at the door. Lavin's checking to see if there's any other way in, and Ellie is climbing
In a
Okay.
ball gown.
Just
the
to
ball
see
gown.
if the window that he was at, if it's
Okay.
unlocked or not.
Okay, first things first is I am going to need a climb check from you.
Got
Now
it.
this is a brick building, and you are not in very mobile clothes. So I'm gonna
Yes.
make it harder by 30.
Okay, so I will add 30.
Mhm.
67. Let me
Yeah,
double
okay.
check. I'm pretty
I
sure I
think
Don't
got
you have like
it.
98 climb or
Yeah, you have a
Yeah.
disgusting
Yeah,
climb
it's
skill.
98.
Okay. Okie dokie. I just need to know that I'll get to you in a moment. I just need to know
Okay, Dad.
your amount of. What's the matter with you? Okay. Lavin's checking the perimeter, and Patrick's waiting at the door. Thump thump. Okay. Lavin, as you go around, about half of the area is fenced off, but you're able to. There's a gate there that has just a simple latch that doesn't have a lock on it. So you step through it and go along to the back of the house. It appears that there is another door. There's a door that exits out to the backyard. Has this simple mesh, I guess you could say, door in front of a simple wooden one. It's closed currently. And in addition, there appears to be a double shuttered door that goes down into what you're assuming is some sort of cellar or basement. However, that looks to be made of pretty sturdy wood, and it has a very large padlock, locked, closing the door shut. All the windows on the ground level are fastened, and you take a finger out to check and see if the latches are opened or anything like that, and it appears that they're all firmly shut as well.
Is the back door locked?
You go, and the mesh door is unlocked, but when you go to the wooden door behind it, it appears to be locked as well when you check the door. Although you do notice that this type of door handle is pretty weak, and the door itself isn't nearly as sturdy as the front door. Especially with your robotic arm, you could probably bash this thing through no problem.
Yeah, I'm not about to start breaking the guy's house.
Sure. Just letting you know your options.
Yeah, I kind of figured, but that's-
Ellie starts Climbing star, you can head over to the window where the guy peeked out from first?
Yeah.
Okay. So you head over to the window where the fellow peeked out, and sure enough, you notice that there's a little tiny gap, probably about an inch wide, which implies that the window can be opened. The panes can be opened, and if you pulled it even more, you'd probably be able to get in through the window.
She's gonna do that thing that dogs do when they want to get into like through a door
God.
where they kind of use their face.
Huh?
So like she's gonna kind of push her face through the window shutters.
Sure.
So she's not technically breaking and entering yet, but she
Mhm.
like has like her nose and her lips maybe on the other side.
That's just terrifying.
Okay. Luckily the blinds are all closed, but he'll get one heck of a start if he pokes out the window again. In response to your couple thumps, Patrick, there's the original sheet of paper comes underneath the door, and this time, next to the left of the go away, you see a please written there as it slides underneath the door.
Well, if you would like to talk, it might be better to not write back and forth.
Long pause.
Al would look over his shoulder and say, I think the message suggests he would not like to talk.
There, you hear a mumbled voice from the other side of the door, which says, "The note implies that I don't want to talk to you. Now, please go away."
Al nods sagely.
We're actually just looking for one piece of information. We're looking for a particular statue of a rabbit.
None of my statues are for sale.
We're actually just looking for information. We're not looking to or trade.
Al would like clear his throat and go, I'm sorry, maybe we're giving the wrong idea here. We're actually here on an academic premise. We are here to study archaeological finds, and we think that the statue could be of great significance. And Al will look at Patrick and nod.
Patrick looks with you in confusion for a second, and then like kind of relaxes his face and nods understandingly.
Why should I help you with any of your academic inquiries? You're strangers at my door.
Al pauses. Yes. Well, I can see, sir, that you are a man who enjoys his privacy, obviously. And I can only imagine that you are constantly having to combat and struggle against this. Our association, who is very prominent in certain academic circles, could, with your cooperation in this one endeavor, help see to it that you are not bothered by academic circles again.
Oh, I see. Blackmail, huh? Help me out this one time and I'll call off all my other academic goon squad.
I'm sorry, I'm giving the wrong impression again. No, of course I'm not going to send more people here. I'm not here to blackmail you. This is simply very important to us, and we are trying to find a way that this could be mutually beneficial.
There are hundreds of statues of rabbits out there in the world. Why do you want to pick my brain over one of them?
Because there's very few of them that are solid gold and gem encrusted.
Patrick looks at Alan, like slaps him on the shoulder with the back of his hand, like, dude, what?
Al, like he like looks at Patrick and like shrugs.
There's a long pause on the other side of the door. Hear footsteps. Kriana, you hear footsteps closer towards the window.
Okay, now I did not want to interrupt the situation, but like while they're talking, like Ellie would slowly be pushing her face through the window. So I'm wondering,
my God!
I'm wondering how much of her body has made it within the building.
Okay. Well, this is a lengthy conversation, and as you're pushing your head through the freaking window, sure enough, your head and your shoulders and your upper torso has been pushed through. You push past the blinds, and as you look around the dim room, at first you are assaulted by a smell of dust and mildew. It is like no one has cracked open a window for any length of time for ages. Secondly, when you look around, you can see piles and piles and piles of newspaper, blocks put together with these little white pieces of string, as this entire, maybe it was a bedroom or a living room, you're not too sure. It's a good sized room, but it's filled from floor to the rafters of these newspapers, pillars of these newspapers.
Oh.
You hear footsteps coming up the steps beyond the door, a closed door, on the other side of the room, of this newspaper room. Do you want to do anything, or do you want to just hang out there?
Does there look like any place that she can hide? Because
yeah, behind any giant pile of newspaper.
she like dives behind the newspaper pile. Thankfully, she's wearing a dress that kind of like softens her fall, so she's not making too much of a racket.
Okay, so you quickly scramble out
I
from
can
the
hear
window.
you. Cover your face.
What?
I can hear you just cover.
Yeah, I am. This is not how I expected things to go, but why do I keep acting surprised after 3 years? So you quickly scramble out from the window into the room, quickly dashing behind.
You cut out.
Dude, it's a dim room.
You quickly dashing.
Control light coming.
Uh-oh.
Whoa, was it just me getting that, or is everybody else getting that?
No, I got that.
I think he's just having a leg spike, so it'll hopefully should be dipping out.
Yeah.
Dipping down.
Dip it out behind the stack of paper.
Much like Ellie hiding behind the
there you
tights.
In a ball gown.
Oh! I was disconnected. What was the last thing that you heard?
You said dipping out
behind
like it was also at the very start.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Okay, you dip behind one of the giant newspaper piles. Roll me a prowl check to kind of hide. It's going to be really easy because it is very dim in this room and there's lots of places to hide. So I would make it do prowl, make it easier by 10.
Doesn't she have 98 prowl?
I will check. That's probably.
I just assume like basically 9/10 of everything you guys do is a 98. So
No, not all the time.
Not all the time. Let me check my prowl. My prowl is 98%. Okay, you're right in this case.
yeah. Hey,
Well,
any
they're
other
high-level
questions?
characters, so okay. So sure enough, as you hide behind one of the giant piles of newspapers, the door creaks open, and Ellie, you get a glimpse of a very disheveled older man. Here he is. His hair is wispy and white, covering his head. He has a very long beard, and he's dressed in what appears to be these cotton pajamas. He is. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, good. He moves. He looks to be in his 60s or so, and he still moves relatively quickly and with purpose. His hands are clenched in frustration as he moves over towards the window. He notices that it's opened, and from below, down those of the other players, down by the foyer. Levin, have you circled around back to the front at this time? Are you still hanging around the
No,
backyard?
I was going to look closer at the padlock.
Okay. Give me just. Actually, let's deal with you right now, real quick. All right. You examine. You head over towards the padlock, locking up the two large doors that are leading down to that appears to be like a cellar entrance. It's I don't know how to explain it. It is a thick, like those old timey key locks where it's like this big black lock, and instead of like a combination or something, like there's this big ass keyhole in the center of it.
All right, yeah, I know what
Yeah. It's that kind of lock.
So it's not like a Mastercraft padlock. I'm just kidding.
No, it's not a Mastercraft padlock.
Okay. What I'm in particular wondering about is if I think that there's a way that I can destroy or remove or unhinge just the padlock without damaging the doors at all, leaving a trace on the doors at all.
Sure. What kind of tool do you want to use to do that?
Robotic arm.
Son of a bitch. Look, I do.
I thought that was
arm?
obvious.
Up. All right. No. So what you want to do is with your robotic arm, like crush or remove the padlock itself.
Yeah, I mean, you could crush
leave
it,
the
or maybe
door.
you could like
Mhm.
put your like finger and thumb in between and spread them apart.
Oh yeah,
or something like that,
yeah.
so that it just
Yeah,
affects
yeah.
the padlock and doesn't
Okay.
doors.
Okay. So that's an SDC padlock. Spoiler alert. And although it's very thick,
Wait, they can
Um,
design this padlock to sustain energy weapon damage? What are these guys thinking?
or fucking robot strength. Yeah, no. So sure enough, yeah, I like that thumb and forefinger idea. You're able to pry open the door. Pry open the padlock until it actually the little thing that kind of slides into the lock portion just splits wide open, and you're able to feed it through the latch on the front door, and padlock removed.
Okay, I want to pocket the padlock so I don't leave any evidence.
Okay, all right, in your pocket.
Quietly go into the basement, close the door. Probably, you mean, unless I walk in there and something blows up or something.
Oh, you never know. Okay, so you quietly and gently open up the door, and sure enough, there appears to be the cement steps leading down into this cellar basement area. And it's extreme when you close the door behind you. It is extremely dark. It is pitch black. You cannot see your hand in front of your face.
Well, I still have a cybernetic eye, right?
Yeah, you do.
I
Yeah,
got
remember, it looks like a kind of a glass eye, but it is an actual
right.
like cyber eye.
Yeah, so I still have night vision. I should be okay.
Okay, all right. You activate your night vision. Delightful, and although there is a slight greenish glow to everything, which is really weird. Really weird.
Oh, because it's green.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, that's random.
Yes.
Have I not used my thermal vision since then? Was that colored since we got in here?
Your thermal vision wasn't colored, no.
But the night
Wait.
vision is colored.
Wait. You haven't used your thermal vision since you've been here, so you can try it now.
Okay, well, yes. Sure,
Okay.
real quick, just to
You
see.
try it now, and sure enough, it's a heat signature like red and orange and yellow.
All right. I look around the basement for golden bunnies.
For what? A golden rabbit?
Yeah.
Well, you look around the basement. So now, are you trying to be quiet as you creep around this basement?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'd like you to roll me a prowl check. No penalties. No bonuses really either.
And guess what? It's not 98.
Yeah.
No.
But you only fail by 3. See, the threshold of fail or success means something in this game, so that's not that bad. You're gonna make a little bit of noise with your footsteps, but not a ton. Not a ton. And who knows how many ears are on you? But the first set that you know of, belonging to this bizarre man, is currently distracted, so you might not have to worry about that right now. But let me just kind of describe this basement for you real quick, and then I'll move over to the rest of the group. This basement, similar to when Ellie first entered this abode, smells extremely damp. The smell of mold permeates everything, and as you look around, sure enough, you can see on the wooden slats that make up the basement, along with some concrete foundations, that sure enough, this very dark gray and speckled black bits of mold cling all around. This place has not been maintained in a very, very long time. There is no golden rabbit that you can see. In fact, there's no statues or anything that appears to be of any great valuable worth. There are, however, appears to be just a ton of old furniture, chairs, tables, couches with the linoleum, sorry, not the linoleum, with the padding all wet and damp and rotting, beds, desks, armchairs, everything is just piled up in a jumbled mess of each other. And in fact, it gets tricky to navigate against these hordes and piles of this wooden furniture. Closer inspection, you can see that half of it is rotted. Much of it is just completely useless. But you can see on the far, far, far end of the, I guess you could say the cellar itself, what appears to be the only thing that doesn't look like it's been rotted through and through. Cast.
What?
With what appears
I don't think that came through.
3
do I
dozen
3 dozen bottles?
Oh, alcohol.
What?
So
I don't know what's at the end of the room. 3 dozen bottles or something.
It was casks.
Cass?
No. It's a wine rack. 3 dozen bottles of wine are in a wine rack, and the wine rack itself is the only thing that isn't rotted through.
Oh,
Okay.
it's a wine nut.
Okay. So back at the just a heads up. I don't know if it's going to make any lick of difference, but next week I'm going to just get one of those fucking blue Ethernet cords, and I don't care if it has to stretch across my living room. For the sake of this on Sunday nights, I'll plug it right into my computer to see if that makes any difference. If it's maybe my Wi-Fi, that's causing this problem, or what?
Cool.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay, whatever. All right, where was I? Back at the front of the building. The wild-haired man moves up towards the window peeks open the blind and notices that the window itself is open. He gives a bit of a surprised sound, quickly looks around the looks around the room, and juts out a hand to grab the side of the window and pull it front and pull it closed. Those of you down below, you can see that the hand itself, the fingernails are like really long, not like super like Henry Hughes long, but like, I guess you could say like a woman's well manicured fingernail, like a really long fingernail like that. Long as it grabs the window closed. Then the window cracks open to peek again. As sure enough, you can see his eye jut down from underneath the foyer. And he says, "Where's the rest of you?"
What? Tom's gonna look up from where he's sitting on the stoop. What's going on?
Gonna yell at me if I tell you.
You say that?
What?
Yes.
You hear a blood-curdling shriek coming from the second story, guys.
And then followed by another curdling shriek that sounds like Ellie.
Jesus fucking Christ, we're going to jail.
Is everything okay up there?
You don't hear a response from the man because Ellie, as you can see, the man has jolted out of the room, running down the hallway with a thump, 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 down the hallway itself. And yeah, after his scream, he has run out of the room.
Uh-oh. Oh, Ellie will fall over. I didn't mean to scare you. You scared me.
You're rustling down at the end of the hallway.
Hello? Ellie will just like follow. Hello? Sir, it's me. It's your pen pal from before. Hello?
Okay, just give it a moment. Give me just a moment. I want to make sure I get everything right. So, down the hallway. So when you exit the door, Ellie, from this room, you see a balconied hallway. On your left-hand side is a balcony that leads out into this really nice foyer, this front area of the room. Sorry, of the building. And it actually looks like that. And then along the right-hand side of the hallway are 3 doors. And then at the very end is one other door that leads into, you're assuming, is some other room. It's kind of very dark and dim. It's hard to tell specifically, but that door is open, and the wrestling is heard from that room. And as you're saying hello, and coming down there, sure enough, the fellow reemerges from that room with 2 differences. The first is that he has what appears to be a safari hat on his head. The second thing is in his hands is a giant elephant gun. He yells, "You'll never get the transmundane, cultist scum!" as he brings his gun towards you and fires.
Wait, the transmundane cultists?
Yeah, he says, "You'll never get the transmundane, you cultist scum."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is a huge bang that even Lavin can hear from down in this basement cellar that he's in. So I'm gonna roll to hit.
Yeah.
Now I got good news for you. It's a big gun, and he hasn't been doing his sit-ups. So he actually has a -3. You might want to take a defensive action. Because I got a 6. You can't parry a shot, but what you could do is dodge. Yes.
Yeah,
What you'll have to do is it's going to be -10, so you have to roll 1d20 -10, but you could dodge out of the way.
Okay, so it'd be just a 1d20 plus 1 then?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my god. So you barely dodge out of the way. Okay, what do you want to dodge back into the room that you emerged from?
Yeah, so you said wait, are we in the room or did he come out of
Well,
the
you're down the
room?
hallway. You're kind of in a hallway is what's happened. Is you're on one end of the hallway and he's on the other end.
Okay,
He's
so
by his bedroom door and you're by the room that you with all the newspapers in it.
yeah, she'll do like the comical like shriek and then like dive back into the room she just came out of.
Okay, great. Perfect. And a giant football-sized hole pushes into the wall right next to the door frame of the room that you came on through. He goes, "Ah! Dang it! Wait right there. This is a bitch to reload." So he goes back into his room. What would you guys like to do? Obviously Ellie, but also the gentleman who heard the immense gunshot and scream.
I have no fucking idea what to do now.
Ellie will say, "Well, okay, but I'm not a cultist. Do you want to just talk? Remember I wrote to you before. I just wanted to talk, but I didn't remember why I wanted to talk. Remember me? Your good friend. We wrote to each other."
He
Patrick
closes the door and he says, "You'll never catch me alive," through the door.
No, hang on. Wait. Okay, hold on. You're being ridiculous. Ellie will like start walking towards the end of the hallway. Let's just
Christ.
talk.
Patrick's in his like ready for action pose, about to do something, and then just hears Ellie say something. He's just frozen stiff.
Al takes out Sharp and says, "Sharp, sharp, sharp," 3 times. Vibroblade, and uses it to slice through the lock of the front door.
May I
stop?
It's
up to you. You're the player, right? That's right next to Al.
I guess once I hear sharp, 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 I think I have enough time to do so. He just turned out, I was like, I hope you're not going to cut through this house.
He is shooting at Ellie. I am going to get up there to help. The fastest way I know how.
I'm okay! Okay, maybe her hearing's not that good.
No, her hearing is that good.
Oh, okay, yeah, she'll say, "I'm okay!"
That's not going to be very convincing. This is Ellie we're talking about.
I have seen her take a lot more than a gunshot. She'll be fine as long as she keeps talking. Right, Ellie?
Right! Hey, fella! Hey, wait,
Yeah.
Inferno, quick question.
Yeah.
Sure. Is Santa Claus a thing in Rifts?
You could have read it in one of the books in the library.
That's good enough a reason for me. Hey, Santa Claus, please! I just want to talk! Listen, I'm a huge fan! And it seems like you got a lot of cool stuff here! Especially that gun of yours. Maybe we can, like, put it down?
Oh, it's down, says the man from behind his closed bedroom door. Oh, yes, and you can keep on talking. I know what you are. Infiltrators, spies, cultists, assassins. I knew it. I knew my research was right.
Wait, sir, I'm just a little girl.
Oh, yes, that's what they come as. little girls and other such well-meaning strangers, academics, fans, all of them. Oh, yes. Well, I got more than you can handle.
Wait,
Oh,
I
yes.
have
You
an
try
idea.
your best.
I have an idea. Why don't we just talk through the door? You don't have to open the door. I don't have to be scary to you. We can just have a nice conversation.
Oh, you would like that. You would like that, but don't worry.
I would. That's what I was suggesting.
You hear his voice trail off a little bit.
Can we hear what he's saying or just
No.
what Ellie's saying? All right.
Because
Yeah.
Ellie's, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I don't even know
I'll-
if you can hear what Ellie's saying. You're hearing muffled shouts.
Al's going to look at Patrick and he's going to be like, I heard the size of that gun. Forgive me if I don't believe in Ellie's invincibility. And then he'll cut through the lock.
Okie dokie. I was just trying to think of the logistics of that. I guess there's no reason why you couldn't jam that vibro knife through the gap and just twist and saw up and down a couple times. Sure, makes sense to me. So that's what you do. It takes about 5 or 6 seconds for you to cut through the metal of all the latches because it's not just one lock. It appears this guy had about 8 different locks on this door.
Okay.
So
'Cause
it
I'm
takes you
seriously
like a good 10, 15 seconds for you to cut through it all. And there's this big wedged carving out the side of the door after you're done. But the door's unlocked.
I am correct in thinking, like, I've never heard an elephant gun, but I got to imagine it sounds much louder than an average rifle, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me get you a picture of an elephant.
No,
gun.
I've seen them. I've never heard one, but I assume probably much louder than a normal rifle. So Al, that's what I would say. It's like, I heard the sound of that gun. Forgive me if I don't believe in her invincibility, and he'll start cutting through them.
Isn't that what the guy had in that zombie movie in the mall?
I don't know.
Was the guy in the armory?
Watch
across
the
the
zombie
street?
movie.
The one where they're in the mall, and the guy had the wife
Day
who
of
was
the
infected,
Dead?
and he had like a zombie baby.
I don't know.
Oh, that was the Dawn of the Dead remake.
It's a gun designed to kill elephants. That, in and of itself,
Yes.
should let you know how big it is.
Perhaps it's been a while since I've seen that remake.
I think
It's
he
actually
shot
been-
Burt Reynolds with his elephant gun.
Well, he almost shot Ellie Reynolds here with this elephant gun. Regardless,
Oh.
Lavin, it's been a while since we went to you. Last went to you when I had yet another fucking disconnect thing. So, wine bottles, furniture everywhere, giant booming noise, and shouts from above you. What would you like to do during this time?
Do the wine bottles look like they've been touched in any length of time? As in, is there dust on them?
Actually, there isn't dust on them at all. They look relatively new.
I know what year it is, right? Or Lavin, I should say, knows what year. quote
Yeah,
unquote,
yeah,
year
it's been on all sorts of literature, including the posters when you first arrived, 1937. Yes.
I want to check, say, like 2 or 3 of these wine bottles and see the year.
Okay.
If it's close or old, or what are we looking?
Yeah, one is 1925, one's 1920, and one is in 1898.
Remind me what year are we actually?
1937.
So they're 10 plus years old.
Yes.
I'm gonna take the one that was 25 or whatever, but not too old, just a little bit old.
Yeah, sure.
It's actually the most recent of the ones I grabbed.
Okay.
On the way, I'm gonna start heading out, and on the way out, I just want to open, like you said, there was desks and stuff.
Yep.
Just like open a couple drawers and see if there's.
You open one drawer and there's a rat in it. Other than that, nothing else. A very startled rat.
Okay, and this does not connect back into the house, right?
No,
The
it
door, right?
doesn't. It doesn't. You don't see any other doors or stairways up, only the one that you came from. This looks like it was some sort of wine cellar that has mostly been made up of furniture now, with a little bit of wine.
So taking the one wine bottle, I will
Mhm.
exit out and head back around the front where everyone.
Okay.
is up.
Okay. So Ellie's currently trying to converse with this guy on the other side of his bedroom door. Al has just opened up the front foyer door. It's open. Al, you can see like a little introductory hallway, and then sure enough, this kind of main living room area right here. With the exception, sorry, not with the exception. There's one other thing that isn't detailed in the photo that I should notice is just to the left of this front little entry hall. There are what appears to be some recently delivered boxes, parcels, really, cardboard boxes and a few bags of whatnot. You can see that a few of the bags have groceries in them, while some of the boxes, the cardboard boxes, have what appears to be these small little knickknacks. It looks like one looks like a spyglass is in it. Another one looks like some sort of metal, like abacus. And then there also appears to be, and you have to take a double check. And by the way, Patrick and Tom will be able to see this too when they enter through the doorway, is what appears to be a statue, but not of a rabbit. What appears to be a falcon. Onyx statue of a falcon. And what's really caught your attention is the headgear that the falcon seems to be wearing. It's almost, no, it is identical to that little custom helmet that you made just a few weeks back on Earth.
Oh, no.
Statue. Oh, man.
God.
Yeah. Al will note this as he charges up some stairs that he can find.
On this episode
yep,
of
there
the
are
Twilight
stairs.
Zone.
Oh.
Yep, there are stairs. You can see you race up the stairs. There's a single set of winding staircase up towards that hallway that Ellie is standing by. You can see a giant hole opposite one end of the hallway. You can see Ellie standing on the other side of the bedroom door, unharmed. And the door's closed, along with 3 other doors on the top of the hallway there.
Quick question. Is there
Yeah.
room for me not to be standing directly behind the door? Can
Yeah.
I, like,
Oh yeah. There's tons of
okay.
room. Here,
Okay,
here.
so
Give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. We're gonna whiteboard this shit. We're gonna whiteboard a little bit of this shit.
Otherwise, upon seeing Al, she'll kind of give him a startled look and then like raise her hand up him, like give him a look like, what the hell are you doing here?
Al will stop and he'll look around. Can he see, like, for example, the football-sized hole that was made?
Yes, I just said you could see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, sorry. Al will nod and like take cover by a wall where he can still see Ellie, and he'll give her kind of like a "what's going on" gesture.
You see her shrug.
Al will point to the hole in the wall and shrug again, like "what the."
I will wait for Inferno.
So,
Yeah,
Tom. Oh well. While I'm messing around with the whiteboard here to kind of help you guys out a little bit.
Mhm.
Tom and Patrick, what are you doing?
I think I don't want to actually enter. I want to just like stand on the outside next to the door. 'cause-
Guys,
11 comes around the corner with a bottle of wine in his hand.
Jesus fucking. Why? We're already breaking and entering. Now we're. Oh. Can we please not?
hey, I haven't opened it. By the way, as I'm walking, I'm peeling the label off of the wine bottle.
You sneaky fucker.
I mean, that bang was so
love
loud. I can almost guarantee that the cops were called. Why are we? What? We just needed to talk to this guy. Why did we? But he's just gonna he's gonna fret outside, essentially, unless
You
he
see
is
Tom
needed.
fretting outside.
Yes.
We're in bed with the police. It's gonna be okay. This is Kriana talking.
Oh,
Buying
Jesus.
it.
It's all right. It's okay.
Patrick
Well, you guys heard
trades places with Tom and just sits at the stoop.
You guys heard it. The GM said it's okay, so we're fine.
quiet.
We'll
you.
just flash some like fake FBI badges. That always works in the movie.
Not quite.
How quickly can you make fake FBI badges?
Does the FBI even exist in 1920? Like
I don't
1930,
know.
whatever.
They did
Yeah.
in the 50s and 40s. I don't know about that early though.
No, it wasn't. It's a J. Edgar Hoover thing, isn't it? It's got to be like 50s.
We'll look into that later. Oh, this map is shit.
Hey, at least it doesn't look like a penis. Every time I try to draw a map in my game, that's what everybody's like. Dude, you drew another like.
Oh, that's mean.
It's the worst.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Is this the hallway up here?
Yeah.
Okay, and so like he's down here. And
Yeah, he's. Oh no, but this isn't. Oh, see, the problem is that we got first floor and second floor. So let's just worry about the second floor right now.
Just the hallway.
Yeah. We'll just worry about the hallway right now. So Al's here by the stairs. You're here, and this is the door that he did it through. Oh, where is it? Where's my arrow? There. This door. Okay, all right.
Does it sound like he's getting that gun ready?
Oh, boy. Well, we don't know. It's gotten really quiet on the other side of the door. Last thing you heard him, it was like his voice was almost like trailing away.
Are you still there? Hello?
No answer.
I'd like to be on the stoop outside.
Okay, you're on the stoop outside. Fretting as Ellen Elliott doing that. Okay. Yeah, you don't hear anything.
Ellie's gonna do a test. No, that's a bad idea. She won't do that. You'll see her like raise her fist and then she'll stop. Maybe not best to antagonize the potential giant gun.
I want to head up to where the shots are.
Okay. Levin comes on through, wanders around, comes upstairs. You see the hole is like down at this end. See Al and Ellie by one of the large doors on this hallway.
So you'll have to remind me here. My memory shit. What was the guy that we took out, the beer baron or something like that?
The Gin Baron.
Gin baron.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to say to this guy. Well, actually, first I would confirm with Al and Ellie. Like, see, this guy's on the other side of this door here.
Yeah, but I just wanted to apologize for sneaking into your home. As you can probably imagine, I'm not very clever. I totally get what it's like to be chased by something scary, because let me tell you, I've definitely been chased by something scary. So to make a long story short, I just wanted to invite you to the Rhapsody. It's a new hip and happening place that we run, and it would be great if you would come down and visit, and maybe we could have a drink and talk about some rabbits. Was it a rabbit? Were you looking for a rabbit?
Speaking of drinks, we're actually the Furious Five, and you may or may not know that we've taken over the Gin Baron's business, and we've acquired quite a selection of older wines that seem to be unlabeled. And I heard that you had some experience or were somewhat of a aficionado of wine, and thought you might be able to help me to identify some of this. You have any wine glasses around?
Give me a second to think. Give me a second to think.
Hopefully the label on this wine is completely removed by
Yeah,
now.
it's completely removed now. Yeah, it's completely removed. Okay. You hear a voice from below you. Below the stairs, off in like this general direction on the first floor.
Oh.
And sure enough, it's the same voice of the other gentleman. Goes, "Oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. go ahead and step through that door, and I'll be up to join you shortly.
I don't like
Just
this
go
guy.
ahead. It's just my bedroom. No worries. That's where I keep all the wine glasses.
Ellie's gonna poke her head down the stairs.
Well, you poke your head down the stairs, and you can guess where that the voice is coming from, which is off the main living room. It appears to be probably there's two other doors, one to the left, one to the right. The voice seems to be coming towards the left, towards the back of the building on the first floor.
Ellie will just start like she'll look at the others. I mean, should we go talk to him or should we just cut our losses?
What did he mean by cultist fanatics?
Paranoid schizophrenic. Who cares? Let's go get him.
No,
Levin
wait,
cracks the bottle
wait.
of wine, starts drinking it, and uses his thermal vision to find out where this guy is and just starts walking that direction.
Okay.
Wait, let me talk to him at least. she'll like race after him. I feel like we're kindred spirits.
They're both crazy.
Al will
Ellie
catch up.
will wince at that.
Al will catch up to Ellie and he'll say, "What did he say to you? Did he say something about us being cultists or something like that?"
Yeah, something like that.
Well, if he really is thinking that, why don't we play along? Tell him that there
No.
is a conspiracy or cultist, but we're on the good side.
I just said that and it didn't work. Well, I said something similar. I don't think I
Nah,
said.
that's the point. You said that we're on his side, but you didn't.
Well,
if he
here-
is,
How about this? Because clearly I'm too crazy to help with the situation. I'm going to go wait outside. Good luck. And Ellie will just walk out the door and go sit down next to Patrick.
Al will I don't know if she'll hear him, but he'll be like, "I didn't say that."
Of course he didn't.
I did.
So Lavin, you turning on your heat signature. Sure enough, you do see off to the side of one of the rooms near the back is a single man. Matching the height and size of the gentleman that Ellie was talking to. Actually, you don't know. Anyway, sorry. You see heat signature.
Anyway.
Yeah, sorry. See, you have a heat signature of one humanoid man. He's okay. There's the doorway, and then he's like right to the left of it. You don't see anything in his hands, but he looks like he's crouched and ready for you to come through that door.
Okay, I open the door.
And you hear him yell, "Tangiki death powder!" And then he jumps in front of you, opens up his hands, and blows dust in your face. Roll versus non-lethal poison.
What? Okay.
What? So on your character
I think
sheet.
I get a +3.
Yes.
I got a high
Okay, you got 12.
endurance.
You have failed.
Well, you did fail, but the good news is that if it was really death powder, I guess you'd die. What really it is it's causing you to sneeze. Sneeze like your nose is like constantly itchy and your throat and everything. You're coughing, you're sneezing, you are you're not completely incapacitated or anything like that, but this is very distracting and hard to concentrate. He blew sneeze powder in your face. And he starts to scamper off down to the next room.
I do my best to keep following, I guess.
Okay. Are you going to try to tackle him, or are you just going to keep on his tail?
No, I just want to get, in front of him.
Okay. It'll be a little. Okay. This is what we'll do. We'll do kind of like an opposing speed check, I guess. I'm gonna roll 1d20, and you're younger and faster than him, but you are also slightly incapacitated by this sneezing powder. So I'm gonna roll a 1d20 and do a -1, and you just roll a straight 1d20, and whoever wins catches up. So you have to roll 1d20. You don't. Okay. So unfortunately, the coughing, the sneezing is causing your eyes to blur, and you're bumping into all this stuff. Like, what kind of stupid kitchen is this? There are pots and pans everywhere. I mean, everywhere. They're hanging from every bit of every hook, every cabinet, everything. They're on the floor. It's like a hoarder's wet dream of like all these pots and pans everywhere in this kitchen. So unfortunately, you trip on a couple of them. The others can hear pots and pans rattling from behind the house. As unfortunately, the man is able to disappear into the next room with you stumbling in tow.
And Lavin mutters, "Glad Ellie's not this kind of crazy."
Al, or the rest, what would you guys like to do?
So I'm a little uncertain because, like, I guess after Ellie went outside, Al would take off after Lavin, but I'm not sure how much of the ensuing sneezing
Chaos?
instance he saw. Yeah.
Well, you got front row seats to that.
Okay, so he saw all that. So he sees Lavin.
Sneaky death powder.
Oh man. Al is going to chase. No. You know what? First things first. He needs to make sure that this was not actually death powder of some kind. For all he knows, he just threw poison in his friend's face. So Al's going to try and assess to see if Lavin just had poison.
That's gonna be a little tricky. One, because Lavin isn't holding still.
I would not let
know.
you check me out for that. I'm off.
You notice that he's sneezing and coughing a lot.
Yeah. All right, Al's just gonna follow after them. And
this is amazing. This is like deranged Safari Man Home Alone. All right.
Al's just like shaking his head and going after them, and he's going to say, "Wait, you're right."
So that makes me and Al the wet bandits, right?
I guess so. Yeah. You're the one that just got the iron hit.
I could be. Was it Joe Pesci?
No. Yeah. Joe Pesci. Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway,
I would say, "Wait, you're right."
Knew it. He says as he runs for. Let's see what's in this room. Give me 2 seconds. I gotta check my notes. God. Yes. Okay. So he's at the center of this room, and it is. Oh wait, I have a picture for it. Give me a second. No, that's the behemoth thing. I got too many things. There we go.
Too many cooks.
No. GM info. There we go. This room is absolutely filled with these glass viewing cases and a variety of knickknacks, books, mirrors, clocks, and alike decorate this entire room. What dominates it, however, is on the ceiling is what appears to be this brilliant, beautiful chandelier with what appears to be this large diamond at the center of it. The chandelier has been hung by a simple hemp rope to one side of the room. As the wild-haired man spins around towards the confessing Al and the sneezing Lavin, he goes, "I knew it! Now, if you could be so kind, could you please stand right there?" And at the center of the room, directly underneath the chandelier, is a little X painted onto the floor.
Al slowly approaches the X, not like he doesn't get to the X, but he's like complying slowly. And he says, there is a conspiracy. There are occultists, but we on your side. We came here for just that reason.
Also wine.
Also wine? He looks at it.
That was very
Lavin holds up the
smart.
bottle of wine.
He says, see, he's smart. He's going to poison the wine. That's how he's going to get to me.
Lavin takes a chug of the wine.
We aren't here to get you. We're here to protect you.
Protect me? Protect me from what? He asks questioningly.
From
His
us.
eyes staring at
Al, Al, okay, Al like stops, raises an eyebrow, and he goes, well, if you don't know, maybe you don't deserve our protection.
He's here to protect you from me.
Lavin, you are not helping.
No.
Damn it.
Holy shit.
I don't know what.
You know what? Lavin's going to start
What?
walking towards Al.
That's right. Just a little bit closer, says the well-haired man.
Yeah, Al's making sure not to make it to the X, so.
Okay. His eyes are going from like the X to you guys to the X to you guys, almost like in a very anticipatory way. His hand is like right by where the rope is, tied to like this banister on a knot.
I'm going to grab the nearest object and throw it at the X. Or not throw it, but like set it, just sort of lightly onto the X.
Really? says the old man. I'm not that stupid.
Al
Now-
is going to. Oh, sorry. Al would like to cast telekinesis on the chandelier.
Okay, but you have to incant
Right.
words, right?
Correct.
Well, this won't make him more paranoid.
As you begin incanting strange dragonese words, he pauses for a moment, gives another shriek, and runs out the side room, which is towards the foyer. Which he sees the other three of you hanging by the doorway. He gives another yell, and he runs back up. No, he runs. He runs to the main living room and hides inside the fireplace, curled up in a ball.
Seems like things are going well.
I'm
Ellie
going
will
to
take note.
keep chasing.
Okay. You chase out the room itself. Al, your spell goes off. The chandelier has now been telekinesized.
Oh no, he would have stopped the second the guy ran. So I'm assuming it would still spend the points, but he's not going to waste the time to finish the spell.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go ahead and mark those off, and he'll follow Lavin,
All right.
just shaking
And
his head.
Mhm.
Ellie will poke her head in and says, "Maybe we should leave him alone. I think he's getting really spooked. At least let me try to talk to him one more time."
Talking is a good idea.
Al nods to Lavin, and he goes, "It can't hurt any more than where we are now."
So the man is crouched inside the fireplace. The fireplace looks like it hasn't been lit in a very long time. Completely clear of any sort of soot or anything like that. And in this room, you can see the trophies of some bison heads, along with flags and other books scattered amongst the walls. In addition, you can see a variety of paintings and pictures. And many of the pictures feature what you can assume to be is the grizzled man in his younger days, with much darker hair and a trimmed mustache rather than the wild beard that he's currently sporting. Dressed in a dapper suit, you can see him posed with a variety of individuals, celebrities next to airplanes and ships, on safari, in addition with a variety of local indigenous tribespeople from the South Americas and Africa. And all these, he's smiling and very jubilant, which is a direct contrast to the disheveled, skinny man hiding in his fireplace, his head in his hands, and he says, "So what's the use? What's the use? Go ahead, do me in, I guess."
Um, are the
I'm-
others letting
I'm not-
Ellie?
Mhm.
Yeah, Al's just gonna let Ellie. Yeah.
What about you, Lavin? What's your plan?
Well, I would say I'm. Look, man, I'm not here to hurt you.
Um,
Calm down. I don't even know anything about a cult.
Hey, hang on. Can you guys go wait outside the door just for a second? Can I talk to our friend for a minute?
Sure.
I think you might be stressing him out, Ellie.
Ellie looks nervously, but then realizes she's the one who initially broke in, so maybe she doesn't have the right to say anything. And she'll look at the pictures on the wall and look to the man in the fireplace. Are those pictures of you?
He nods a little bit. Yes. Back when the world was my playground instead of this wooden prison that I'm in now.
You
But I
know,
do it for my own safety, you know.
I get that. You know what I hate more than anything is being judged for being different. Like here, I mean, I look like you. And she'll stand next to the portrait. Look at me. I'm an upstanding member of society aside from wearing a ball gown. I'm beginning to realize that is not what you wear. Good to take lessons in. But there's nothing more frustrating than people who won't listen to you because you're crazy or they dismiss you right away. Lord knows I get that. I get that. And I don't think you're crazy. I think you're scared. And I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. Like I said, I'm not too clever. And I know what it's like to be chased by something scary. And honestly, honest to goodness, and she'll kind of like kneel down, like maybe 2 or 3 feet away. Honest to goodness, I know what it's like to be followed, and it's scary, and I did not mean to do that to you.
Pauses for a moment. His face softens a little bit, and he says, "Well, logically, if you were here to take my secrets and kill me, I suppose you would have done that already by now."
I don't want to kill you.
Hmm.
I just wanted to ask you a question, and then I forgot about it. Do you remember the letters we wrote to each other?
Yes, you wouldn't go away. You
That's
were
because
very
I wanted to
persistent.
meet you.
Everyone else I told to go away, they eventually do go away, but you're very persistent. So
But
I
I'm
assumed that it was something of great matter, and what's more important than the transmundane, he says in all seriousness.
I don't know what a transmundane is, but we just
He gives a startled look and he says, "You don't?"
Listen, I told you I'm not very clever. And Ellie kind of rubs her head a little bit unconsciously. I don't understand things real well, and I know people don't always take me seriously. And I'm thinking that you might be one of the only few who can. So if I ask you some questions, I'd like you to teach me if you'll allow it. And let me make it up to you. I do work for the Rhapsody. I can bring you some alcohol. I mean, is that illegal? Is bringing you alcohol as a gift illegal? I didn't want it to be illegal. I'm not illegal, but I just wanted to say I'm sorry.
And he says, "That won't be necessary, the alcohol. I have my own supply. Besides, I'd rather not leave." But he pauses for a moment. "You really don't know anything about the transmundane?
I don't.
Your companions," He looks like with narrowed eyes. Do they know about the transmundane?
I don't think they do. They're a little bit, I
Well,
guess.
go ask them.
Okay, I'll go ask him. And Ellie will stand up and she'll walk over to the door. Hey, guys, do you know anything about a transmedoodle?
Al
Oh.
asks very quietly, is it better if we say no?
I think it's better if you be honest.
Then no. Never heard of him.
No idea.
She's mostly looking at Patrick.
GM, do I know anything about a
You have
transmedoodle?
no idea what the transmundane is.
Should I roll something for this?
No. You know what? It'll be futile.
Ellie
Okay.
will walk back into the building. They said they don't know anything about it either. By the way, I don't think I introduced myself. My name's Ellie. And she'll kind of hold out her hand.
He crawls out from the fireplace and stands up in a proper way, and he reaches out his hand and gives your hand a little classy little handshake, and he says, "Frank Patterson."
Meet you, Frank.
Yes.
Anyway, I mean, if you don't want us to be here, I can make this quick. You don't even have to explain the transmedoodle. I just kind of wanted to know if you knew anything about a statue that we was looking for.
Sorry, you cut out there for a second. On what?
That a statue we was looking for.
He says, "Yes, you mentioned that before." Oh, wait, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, good. He goes, "Yes, you mentioned that before. There are a lot of statues. I most recently acquired a few more for my collection. You'll have to be more specific." He pauses for a moment. He kind of looks around his place. Kind of scoots out the room a little bit, look at the other four gentlemen and his broken door. He gives a bit of a sigh. He looks towards Lav and he says, "You still have that line I see?"
Yeah.
"Well, come," he says. "You've broken into my house, but since you've done me the courtesy of not killing me like I suspected, I suppose it wouldn't hurt for you all to sit down." He pauses for a moment and shuffles back over towards Ellie in the living room.
I can introduce you to everyone. Frank, these are my friends. They come off a little harsh and a little silly, but they mean well. They're good people, I promise. Now, the one with the alcohol is Lavin. He's gonna be your alcohol buddy, I guess, for this segment. The short one over there is Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hi.
The guy over there is Patrick. And
Patrick waves.
then the other guy that was chasing you is Al.
Hello.
He says as he crawls back into the fireplace, but he actually kind of leans his back against the wall there. He curls his arms along his legs, and he says, "You can find some glasses in my kitchen." He points towards the door where he threw the itching powder in Lavin's face. Which, by the way, Lavin, you're still like sneezing and coughing a little bit, but the worst of it is starting to pass. It's been a few minutes, so you're good. He says, "Well, go ahead, have a seat. Tell me about this statue that you're looking for. But you said you were here to protect me. What was that? I'm very confused."
I am too. We were here to ask you some questions. Do you need protection? Are you in danger? Oh, I guess with the whole thing that you're talking about, you are in danger.
Yes, I've unearthed secrets that people don't know about. I just assumed you were agents of them.
That's not fair, and we scared you. Oh, I feel so bad. Ellie looks like she's about to start crying. I feel so bad that we did this to you.
You know a Miss Johnson?
His eyes spark for a moment. And and he looks off to one side. He goes, I am aware of Miss Johnson, yes.
What does that mean? Okay, I may be less aware of Miss Johnson than you are. What do you know?
There are 7 letters in the name Johnson. And there are 7 objects of the transmundane. There are 7 statues of Eugene Neal's masterwork. This is not a coincidence. It's all connected, you see.
Is one of those statues a bunny? Rabbit?
Yes. A rabbit
Wow.
made of precious metals?
Here we go.
Wow.
That is one of the transmundane. That is one of the powerful magical objects that, he pauses for a moment, that are linked to the occult and sinister powers. They are clever, these powers. They hide things in plain sight. These special objects, the transmundane, although they are fantastical, there are clues pointed to them in newspapers, in songs, in whispers in the streets. And I have dedicated years of my life here researching, finding them out, locating the transmundane. Because they are, and he pauses with a greedy look, they are beautiful and dangerous at the same time, permeate reality itself. But you wouldn't believe me. No one else ever believes me. That's why I had to be shut in like this. No one would listen to me anymore. They thought I was out in the jungle for too long. I went mad, you see. But I see clearer than any of them. Oh, yes, I do. It's all in the number 7. 7 is their number.
Ellie is like biting her knuckles, like nodding her head like this guy is preaching the good preach. Like she gets it. She gets it.
Tom has the look on his face. He doesn't get it at all. He is so lost and confused.
So if we were to acquire this bunny, it would upset them?
I don't know, he says. He gives a bit of a smile. Maybe there aren't all in their possession already. He kind of gives a knowing look. Maybe they're seeking for them as well. Maybe they were lost. Maybe some of them are still hidden away. They're treasures, you see. Powerful artifacts. So powerful. So bright.
So then why do they hate you so much?
He pauses for a moment. He goes, I know too much. I've seen too much. He looks around at his hoarder house, and I possess far, far too much.
Seems odd that Mr. T would only be interested in one of these 7 objects.
I've learned enough by now to not even try and guess his motivations.
You are looking for a golden rabbit?
Yes.
Yes.
Made out of precious material, not like the color that doesn't exist. Ellie like looks around.
He looks with a start for a moment. He goes, what do you mean colors that do not exist?
Well, hypothetically, what if these precious metals had their own color, like something we can't see with our own eyes? Maybe something that looks a little bit like Mrs. Johnson's lips. Anyone else notice that? Did Ellie notice that?
You see a shiver go down his spine for a moment, and he quickly gets out from the fireplace. He looks at all of you, and he says, That wasn't a lie. He looks over to Al. You are here to help me. How else would you know? Follow me.
The color used to exist?
He nods a little bit. Follow me, please. I promise no more traps. You need to see this.
Lead
Then
the way,
you'll know
Frank.
for sure.
All right.
And
just
with that,
give me a second. I'm gonna close the door because it's been open this whole time. I'm just gonna, yeah.
Al like winces a little bit when he says close the door. And he'll as he goes to follow her, he'll put a quick hand on Ellie's shoulder and say, "Well done. Better
Ellie
than I could have done."
Ellie doesn't really respond to it, but she's just more or less following after Frank.
Okay. He leads you up the stairs and towards one of the rooms that you did not enter just yet. It appears to be a bathroom. Very mundane, very simple. Except that it doesn't look like it's been used all that often. He heads over towards where the bathtub is, and after pushing on the faucet in a strange angle, a small click can be heard. Underneath the porcelain floor of the bathtub, it lifts up a little bit and reveals a hidden compartment. His long fingernailed hands reach towards that compartment, lifts it up with a grunt of effort, and underneath it appears to be a simple dark gray latchbox. It's made of a solid, thick metal, you can see, and there appears to be a large keyhole lock in the front of it. But even as he hoists this large metal chest from the hidden compartment in his bathtub, and he hauls it over nearby where the sink is, you swear for just a moment through that little keyhole you can see the flash of a color cutting through the sepia tone, the black and white world that is the Sable Dimension. He rustles inside one of his pajama pockets and comes across an almost comical circle of keys. There has to be at least hundreds of keys on this thing. It is large and heavy, and he takes a few minutes to sort through them all, and sure enough, he finds a simple black nondescript key. He slides it inside the lock, he opens it up, and with a ceremonial aplomb, he lifts open the chest. And sure enough, on this soft velvet inlay, there is what appears to be a piece of jewelry that is it appears to be a necklace made out of a silver chain. And on the necklace is this large red gem made in the shape of a teardrop. And that gem itself radiates this soft red glow. And that red glow permeates the entire room, your face, face of Frank Patterson himself. And he says, colors that no one knows of. And he points towards the object. That is one of the transmundane. I found it on one of my excursions many years ago. That is how I know it is real. Every time people say I'm crazy about my little conspiracy theories, I come back to this and look at it. I dare not touch it for too long or be in its presence, because sometimes if you stare at it for too long, you can hear whispers. Whispers. I believe your golden rabbit is another one of the transmundane. Powerful objects. Sinister, perhaps. sinister is the tale of it as well. Truly, you know nothing of Eugene Neal? What he did? What he became?
Wow. It's been so long since I've seen color. Ellie, like, is drawn to it.
Mm-hmm.
We are not very familiar with this area, no.
Pauses for a little bit. He's regained some of his composure a little bit, perhaps relief in confiding with someone who knows what the heck he's talking about, in which he lectures. Eugene Neal was what they would call a Renaissance man, a brilliant author, a poet, a sharp mathematician, and also a sculptor. He was praised in the circles of high society and high art, but he didn't adjust well to the highfalutin society. As time wore on, he grew more interested that his art reflect the more raw, visceral nature of the world. He became obsessed with what he called the natural equations, mathematic formula that could be found in nature, in the rings of a tree, the angles of natural landscape, patterns of a wildfire. Eventually, all of his work, all of his artistic work became simple metal replications of animals. Then, on the very day he turned 58, which was 12 years ago, he sent a note to the Velda City Virtue. You said you're not from here, that's one of our local newspapers. Enclosed in that note was Eugene Neal's suicide letter, in which he proudly proclaimed that after finishing his most wondrous work of art, the Golden Rabbit, he realized he could do no better. His life mission complete, he hid it himself and the Golden Rabbit away into the bosom of nature itself. And he says it would only be revealed and found by those who truly understood his work. And he said in that note that the last 7, see, there's that number again, the last 7 of the sculptures that he made provide a clear clue as to the location of both his remains and the location of the Golden Rabbit. Now I know what these sculptures are. In fact, many people know what the sculptures are. Many locals are aware of the legend. Since this was published by the newspaper and very sensationalized, many people, it became a hobby of treasure hunters and housemaids alike to try to find this Golden Rabbit. It was encrusted with jewels, they said. It would be worth a fortune. For the past 12 years, everyone has tried, and no one has found either what became of Eugene Neal or his Golden Rabbit. Or sinister is afoot. I think Eugene Neal was seduced by dark occult powers, and he didn't commit suicide. He sacrificed himself to these dark gods, and his soul itself resides within the Golden Rabbit, giving it its power, giving it its magic, and making it much like the other objects, transmundane, powerful. He says, if you are looking for the Golden Rabbit, if you are looking for more of these transmundane, I can provide some assistance. I could tell you these 7 sculptures that might lead to his Golden Rabbit, but you have to make a promise to me.
What is it?
If you find the golden rabbit, You must not let anyone else know that you found it. There are the reason for my jumpy nature, my paranoia, my violence towards you, was I thought you were going to kill me and take this back to your sinister lair. You have to keep the transmundane secret and safe. If too many people know, then eventually word will get out. You understand? There are some secrets that have to stay secret.
I do understand that. Our thought would be to put it somewhere so safe no one would be able to take it.
Safer than, and he taps onto the metal box that the teardrop gem is in.
Much safer.
Very well.
We should probably get you somewhere safer too. If you're so afraid for your life, that means that you feel you're vulnerable or that they're powerful enough to. I mean, this house, as impressed as I am with it, was designed to hold off an army.
No, I can't leave. I can't leave here at all. I couldn't. I'll just need to replace my door is all, and I'll have to trust that you won't tell anybody.
Of course.
Frank, could I come visit you? And just to check up on you and make sure you're okay? You don't have to leave your house, but I just come in every now and then and just make sure you're all hunky-dory.
Pauses. He says, "The only person who's ever visited me on a regular basis is my steward. Comes 3 times a day, 3 times a week. Gives me my groceries, newest items that I accumulated, and gives me news on my little private library and how that's running. I suppose since we share a very deep and powerful secret now, it wouldn't hurt for you to come by once in a while."
Yeah, and maybe like Ellie kind of like leans in a little bit, and maybe you can show me some of the collections you got. I'm just super interested, and I feel you got a plethora of knowledge that I would just love to absorb.
He nods, and he grips your shoulder, and he grips it a little tight, and he says, "Okay, just make sure you're not followed."
Ellie winks. You got it.
So, give me 2 seconds, because I got to copy over some pictures that I forgot to upload
Picture.
on Roll20 beforehand.
Should we
I'm,
take a quick break?
Pictures.
Yeah, I need
Sure,
to just step
sure.
away.
Bio
Be right
break,
back.
sure. I'll be perfect.
Sure.
I'll be right back too.
I'll be right back. 3.
Yes. No. Anybody here? I bet. This is Pommel Horse. uh, oh yeah. It's gonna get neater. Hopefully. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Like a good mystery. Right? Yeah.
I am back.
Mm-hmm. Welcome back, Source.
Thank you.
Just go wait for the other knuckleheads. So I'm gonna grab a drink in the meantime.
Cool.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Arrow.
Hello.
Just waiting for Cran's Spiral?
Yeah, I think so. Is Piff here?
Yep.
Cool.
Mao.
Oh, God.
Kitty Mao.
It is kitty feeding time.
That's okay. Kitty Mows are cute.
Mm.
Sometimes. Puppy barks can be cute sometimes too. It's all a matter of quantity.
Yep.
Yup.
I was about to say, Squee probably knows that by living with the dog.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he spent the first year of his life not barking, and he suddenly realized, oh, look what I can do.
Oh, hey. This is the verbal version of me saying, hey.
But at least I have taught him how to actually fetch,
Yeah, there you go.
which was killing me, because before I'd throw something, and then he'd get it, and then sit there and wait for me to chase him.
He trained you how to play fetch.
Yeah. So now I finally got it to where I can stay in one place and just have him go and bring it back. It's much less tiring on my part.
I'm back.
Welcome back. I think we just need Kriana face.
Crinans.
As soon as Krinana's here, we can continue.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Come on, Kriana, hurry up. I'm excited. I have more things to reveal.
Inferno, actually, I wanted a little clarification. I was about
Yeah,
what
lay
you
it
were
on
saying.
me.
So he said that there was a time very recently where like everyone was looking for this.
Yes, yeah,
Now,
exactly, yeah.
when he said everyone, so then to the other players, we've asked a lot of people about this, and most people have been like, "I don't know a thing of what you're talking about." If everyone was looking for this, shouldn't they have been like, "Oh yeah, I heard about a bunny. I was looking for one," or everyone was like, I think more people would know something about it, wouldn't they?
Unless magical
So-
intervention.
Magical intervention or a reason not to talk about it.
Something like that.
You'll
Yeah.
notice the answers to who is Miss Johnson have been somewhat vague.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, same thing.
I will say nothing. I will say nothing.
I'm back.
Well, welcome back. Okay.
Hello.
So with that, after staring at the tear-shaped gem one more time, the gentleman, Frank Patterson, closes the metal chest, puts it back in its place, closes up the compartment, readjusts the faucet, wipes some tears away from his eyes, and he gestures for all of you to follow him down towards the living room once again. Although he stops for a moment, looks at some of the boxes by the foyer, the recent deliveries, goes, blah. He kind of shrugs a little bit at it. And then he grabs what appears to be a small photo album as he returns to the sofas and chairs of his main kind of sitting room. You guys follow suit, I take it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
And once everyone kind of sits down, he clutches the little album close to his chest, and he says, "There are many objects of the transmundane. As I said, 7. I'm in possession of one, and I believe this golden rabbit of Eugene Neal's is another. So, since I was seeking them all out, I have put together everything I could find on Eugene Neal." And he sets the album in front. And as he flips through the pages and shows you, you can see there are tons of clips from newspaper articles and random photos of Eugene Neal and his extended family. Many clippings of the hunt for the golden rabbit and clues, etc., etc. And towards the back, there are pictures of these strange animals. And he taps the photos and he says, These are the sculptures. These are the last 7 that Eugene Neal made with his own hands. As you can see, many of them have earthy, natural, intertwining symbols along with the animal shapes themselves. And the statues are that of a monkey, a bull, a sparrow, an octopus, a fox, a rhino, and a turtle. Over these past few years, I have collected many things, but I've always been looking for objects, statues of animals. That is what my steward delivers to me along with my food. He says, and he almost gives like a tilt of his head as he goes regretfully, unfortunately, as much as I have attempted, I only know the location of a few of them. And it is believed that one has to be in possession of all the statuettes in order for the final location of Eugene Neal's remains and the golden rabbit itself.
I see.
So
Mm-hmm.
you get brought by your steward. Has he seen the thing in the
No, he says, absolutely
wow.
not. This has to be secret. I just tell him that I'm looking for statues of animals, and he goes out and finds them for me. Recently, he brought me one of some bird, but that's not the sparrow that I was looking for. I have dozens, hundreds of them here, but only, he pauses for a moment, only 2 have remained in my possession. I have the rhino and the turtle. He says, I do know the location of one other. That is the bull. And he says, and he spits these next words out. The Antiquarian Art Gallery has one. Ugh, I spit on them. They call that art. They're hacks and frauds, amateur collectors, no understanding of where it comes from, ignorant savages. Ugh, ugh. But they are in possession of one, and they will not sell one to me. Not at all. Ugh.
Why? Have they given a reason as to why they won't sell?
They say it's priceless. It's a piece of Eugene's memory. That they need it if they were to sell it to a private collector, no one would ever be able to see it. It'd be squirreled away. Oh, and they had all sorts of accusatory things to say to me. Oh, yes, all sorts of insults. Snickering at me behind my back. Oh, I know them. Ugh.
I see. Sound like very unreasonable
Give me
people.
that wine. He says laughing. I've suddenly grown a insatiable thirst talking about those low lives.
Pass the wine.
Okay. He just
Would-
drinks it from right out of the bottle. And he pauses for a moment. He looks to the bottle with no label. He looks to Lav and he's like, this is quite good.
Oh,
Would we
yeah.
need to
Yes. It is. So go ahead.
would we need to purchase this, or would we only need to examine it for a few hours in order to use it for our needs?
Well,
Or
I suppose
Maybe-
just examining it would all that be necessary if you knew what to look for.
And you do.
Oh, he says, not exactly. The reason why I... Oh, go ahead, Tom.
I could maybe try and sketch it too.
I suppose, he says, but if I just needed a visual representation, these photos would be all. No, I think there's something etched in or on top of or underneath, some sort of very subtle clue that isn't revealed unless it's all in front of you. Maybe. Oh, he frets for a little bit. I don't know. I don't know for sure.
But that's still something we could work with if they're not willing to sell it, but we can somehow gain access to it for a limited amount of time. We just make sure it's the last one we need. It's
Yes.
possible.
Well, you would need to have a photographic memory in order to remember everything, but it's possible, I suppose.
I have a pretty good memory.
Yes. Well,
May I see the other statues you have? And if you could tell me when they were made, in what order.
oh, he says, okay. A moment, he says as he shuffles off, leaves you guys alone for a few minutes. The statue of a certain falcon still juts out of one of the cardboard boxes by the foyer, staring at you all accusingly.
Al would quietly lean
Little
over to
tear.
Patrick. Patrick, does your camera still work?
It's still a camera. Haven't checked how it entirely works, but at least found where the on button is.
Do you know were cameras common in this era?
I don't know.
Maybe we could take pictures of it, then use those pictures to let Tom sketch it if we don't want to show people the pictures themselves.
From what I've seen of these particular statues, it might not be that easy.
Well, obviously the best solution would be to acquire them, but like he's saying, that might be difficult. It might be a good plan B, at least.
Patrick's like shifts the pictures towards Al. Do you see anything odd about these particular statues?
Al would take a closer look at them. They look remarkably intricate, and Al looks at them. No, I must be missing whatever you're seeing.
Unless that there's a particular marking that I can find on these two, my best guess is that it is most likely alignment of these that has to have light being poured through it.
Oh.
That?
So you think you set them up a certain way and shine a light through it? Well, then, yeah, obviously a drawing wouldn't work.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
Huh.
You'd have to make several drawings in order for that to even.
I mean,
close
how
to
would
being
you shine a light
possible.
through the drawing?
Cut holes.
You
in
have
the
to fight
negative
the right
space.
angle to actually draw it at the right
Yeah,
position
exactly.
to even
You-
have that even slightly useful.
Yeah, you need to have the right angle and cut holes in the negative space, and even then, needs to be the exact size. And ugh, I don't want to even think about that.
Right. So we acquire them. Let's
Yeah,
just
we have
acquire
to.
them.
Yeah, yeah, that seems like a good idea.
So with that, Frank Patterson reemerges, and sure enough, in one hand he has a statuette. It's of significant size. It's about 2 feet long by a foot wide of the rhinoceros. In his other hand, the sizable statue of the tortoise or the turtle. And he sets them down very carefully on that wide circle center table there after pushing away some of his books off to one side. And he says, from my research, the rhino was the 6th sculpture he made, and the turtle was the 7th, the very last one before he made his final work of art, this golden rabbit.
So they should be able to connect with each other somehow if they were put together as some sort of clue. That's good. Would you mind if I took a closer look?
Just be careful, but go ahead.
Should I skill check this or?
Pardon me?
Should I use a skill check to find out any particular stuff on these particular statues, or?
Sure. No, I do prefer, skill challenges rather than being like, you figure out puzzle completely by yourself. What skill do you think would be appropriate?
Well, there's cryptography. If there's any particular, that'd be the closest to find out puzzle. Let's see. From the clues that I've gotten, I feel like that there might be a straight line between these two in some facet, some sort of etching or something like that that might connect them together to signify them as them fitting together. Would be the way I would probably try to figure this out. Like maybe that there's like what are those things? Just an indent that seems to match up between the two statues.
Gotcha. Well, tell you what, give me cryptography, and if we're talking about lines and angles and stuff like that, that sounds like mathematics, advanced mathematics to me.
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, why don't you roll those two for me?
All right. I'm gonna do cryptography first.
Okay.
And
Succeed by
then
18. Okay.
mathematics advanced.
Wow. Okay.
Always with the math. Holy shit.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. I'm gonna say this right now, Fifth. You're a smart cookie. So sure enough, and for Patrick, the skills kind of confirm this a little bit. If you notice, on the front left paw of the rhino, there's a little toenail there, and the front left toenail of the turtle there. Those line up together. They're side by side, with the turtle facing one way and the rhino facing the other. And you feel, because it's making a straight line between the two, that if all the sculptures have to be together, this is a pretty good way to start to line them up. I don't know if you want to do anything with these sculptures once they're lined up, these two sculptures once they're lined up, or not. I'll leave that up to you. But that's the best way you get so far with the clues that you have.
He would probably just try to find if those two linking things would actually make any sort of physical, intricate design that might be considered a map. Or otherwise, he would probably just probably wouldn't really give too much information, but he would probably try to look through both of them, whatever holes that there may be.
Okay. You can't see from the way they're lined up it pointing towards any sort of map or anything like that. But when you look through it, through one end of the rhino, through the turtle itself, it's hard to explain. It's more of an intuition that if there was more information, it would work almost like some sort of strange kaleidoscope image that perhaps would, with a mirror or a light or shadows or something like that, reflect something completely proper. But for now, you're getting just a small piece.
Patrick stands back from it. Easiest would be to obtain the physical form. The hard way would be to try to fit these together through some sort of guesswork. And I'm not going to say I'm not going to be 100% on that.
Yeah,
this looks like it's extremely intricate.
Yeah, it's probably best if we were to just get the physical things, but this also means that we need to actually examine the bowl that is in the museum with our bare hands, at the very least, because otherwise the picture will not line up correctly.
Well, he says, just remember the warning that I heeded you. This is a significant effort, but if you are successful, then you have to understand the dangerous path you're going to go on.
That's fine. We've been through worse, I think.
Is there anything we can do for you before we go?
Well, if you could fix my door, it'd be much appreciated.
Tom stares at Al.
Well, you were trying to kill my friend, so I may have overreacted a bit. I know. I'm willing to pay to have it fixed.
Oh, good. He says, he looks over towards me, Ellie. You said you own some club called the what? The Rhapsody. I see. Well, if I were to send a bill towards you for the repairs of this, my steward would obviously make most of the arrangements, but you would find that amiable? Good, good, good. Well, that's what we'll do then.
I think we lost Burn.
Now,
Burn?
Born?
Burn, no!
Born.
Born.
The cat's got him, clearly.
Oh, God.
Yes. The dangerous cats.
He did say it was feeding times. I guess the cats
sorry.
are just eating him. Oh,
Sorry.
Oh.
I was
Fine.
still muted.
Okie dokie.
Whoops.
Okay, alright.
For that last bit, I couldn't hear Kriana, so I just hopped out, then hopped back in.
Oh, I don't remember. I don't think I said
Just-
anything.
He's
You
gonna
didn't really
just send
say
the bill
anything
to the
much.
Rhapsody for fixing his
Yeah.
door.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, he kind of looks to each of you and he says, well, I have to say this is the strangest house call I ever had. If you require any other consultation or any of the like, I suggest if you just knock on my newly repaired front door, I'll be sure to let you in. Just try not to, I don't know, be sneaky.
Yeah. I'll knock and I'll make sure you know it's me. And I'll make sure I'm not followed.
Yes, that's very important. That's very important. Well, I don't really have much social graces left after being alone for such a long time, so I guess I'll just see you out.
Yeah. Why don't you, after we leave, why don't you take a nice nap, get yourself all comfortable. You deserve it. You've been great. And we'll get your door all fixed up in a jiffy.
Okay, he says. And he leads you towards the front door, picking up the few bundles of groceries that were left on the stoop there. Not on the stoop, but in the foyer for him.
Does Lavin still have the bottle of wine?
No, I
think
give it
so,
to the
it's-
guy.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. He
Yeah,
he
that's-
did it on the table, though.
Yeah.
He didn't have it in his hand.
Yeah, Al would thank him for his time as pleasantly as possible.
Okie dokie.
Out of character, should we bring up the hawk?
Falcon.
Falcon.
Oh yeah, that. I was gonna ask, where did you get the statue of that bird? Looks awfully familiar.
Oh, he says, I'm not too sure. My steward typically arranges my acquisitions. If I remember correctly, he said he got it in a pawn shop. What was it? I have him typically check the pawn shops, the antique stores, and a few other less savory connections. You know, he pauses for a moment. You know, thieves, fences, that sort of thing.
I'll trade you the rest of that wine
And-
for the statue.
Oh, he says, well, as you can see, the falcon isn't one of the 7 statues made by Eugene Neal, so sure, it would just be taking up space in my home, and as you can tell, the space is starting to recede considerably. Yes, you have yourself a deal.
It's good.
And with that, he'll hand over the the Onyx Falcon towards you, Lavin. Sure enough, yep, that's definitely your bird. That helmet matches to a T and everything. Why it's a statue, you don't know, but at least it's back with you.
Just
All
don't
right.
break it. That would be real bad if you broke it.
It's made of like thick onyx, like a thick, heavy stone. He'd have to try really hard to break it.
He also has a robot arm.
Remember in Star Wars when C-3PO was like, "Oh, we'll even encase him in carbonite. He should be quite well protected in there."
Yes,
True.
exactly.
Oh my god,
Okay.
your bird's frozen in carbonite.
Oh man.
Wait, did my character actually see that one, or did he see the shitty freaking prequels? Is that
I
what?
think we saw the prequels.
Okay.
We saw the prequels.
Canonically, I think it was the prequels.
God, I remember I even made the next Star Wars movie called what do I call it? The New Jedi Council or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was something. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
made sure the last 15 minutes were like contaminated, so you didn't know how it ended.
Mhm.
Oh, fuck.
Oh shit! Such a fucking nerd. Okay, anyways, with that, he sees you off, awkwardly closing his cleaved door. Unless there's anything else you guys want to ask, Mr. Patterson.
Nope.
Nope.
I'm good.
Nope. Okay. Okie dokie. Artichoke. Okay. What would you guys like to do now?
I think it's
Um,
doggy
Meet
time.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Puppins time.
We need to go to 72 Ashland Avenue.
Okay. Where is it? 72 Ashland Avenue.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So once more, getting into your two vehicles, with Lavin driving one and Patrick driving the other. I'm assuming you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yep.
You make your way out to outside the main downtown core of Velda City, and more out towards the quaint residential areas. And as you can tell by the map that you acquired, there's all sorts of wonderful, happy-sounding names like Pineview and Sunnydale and Rainbowhurst and Chestnut Creek. And this, of course, is you've actually make your way down to Ashland Avenue. And sure enough, as you park in front of between 74 and 70 Ashland Avenue, you see a simple, well-maintained two-story home with these beautiful hedges grown up, perfectly manicured, creating a natural barrier between their lawn and the neighbors. And sure enough, up at the front of the front lawn, you see three figures. You see a woman standing with a plaid kind of sundress. She looks to be in her mid 30s or so, wearing she has dark hair because it's black and white. Dark hair, dressed up in a little bit of a bun, with an apron in front of her dress, with a couple with a pitcher of lemonade in her hand, pouring into a plastic glass this drink. In front of her, playing in the lawn itself, appears to be maybe a 6 or 7-year-old girl, dressed in a dress as well, with big, huge ponytails on either side of her head. And sure enough, jumping and barking and playing excitedly is a border collie. A border collie that is, without a doubt, actually Hannibal. There is a sprinkler spraying in the front yard as well, and Hannibal is happily jumping through it and like drinking some of the water as it sprays into his mouth, as the girl giggles and laughs and says, "Oh, Sprinkles, you're so silly." Well, the mother calls out, "Now don't call them that. You don't know that's their name." As you disembark from your vehicles, what would you like to do?
I would like to start making my way up the driveway.
Sure. Walk up the driveway. Um, Eventually, the woman notices you approach, as well as the young girl, and suddenly Hannibal raises his wet face from the sprinkler, notices you, gives a couple barks excitedly, and races towards you, Tom, and like puppy pounces you.
Okay. Tom's gonna just start petting him.
As his fur is very wet.
That's
The little
fine.
girl looks on, standing, staring towards you for a moment, as the woman says, "Oh, good day, sir. I'm sorry about the dog, unless..."
No. It's fine. He's going to get up and motion to take a finger and put it on his lips, and Hannibal will sit down patiently.
Yes, he does.
Yes. I was actually here because I saw your advertisement. Flyer that you found a dog.
All of a sudden, the girl erupts into tears and runs towards her mother, saying, "Oh no, he's gonna take the puppy away!" And the mother's like, I told you this wasn't our dog. We were just taking care of him. You want to make sure he goes to his home, right? You would want to go to your home." And as she's trying to console the young girl, as she weeps into her mother's dress, but she raises her hand from her bawling daughter, as she says, "I take it that's your dog, sir?"
Yes.
Clearly,
his name is Hannibal.
he's well trained. Oh, what a peculiar name. Well, that's all right.
Yeah. We come from a far ways away, from a different place.
Oh, I see. That
Yeah.
explains a few things. Oh, where you're from, do they not have collars for your dog? Or did he lose his?
No, we usually don't need them.
Oh. Oh, is he like a hunting dog or like a herding dog? Are you from a farm?
You could say that.
Oh, okay. She says,
We
sorry about my daughter here. She grew very attached to your dog these past few days, but I mean, it's clear that he's responded to you and he knows all the tricks. So I'm just very glad you saw her notices.
I'm glad you put them out. But me and my let me talk to my friends for a little bit. We might be able to work something out.
Oh, okay, she says.
Would you be interested in taking care of him for a few days?
Oh, she says. And then she looks down, and all of a sudden, like the tears instantly dry on the girl's face, and she looks like the happiest she has ever been. And she tugs on her mother's dress. She's like, "Mommy, please, 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 please." She's like, "Well, I don't see much of a problem with that, I suppose." Although she does look a little confused. But
Tom's
let me
gonna
talk to
turn
your
to the rest of the guys. Would you be fine with this?
Yeah. I mean, as long as she makes sure to play with him enough. He
Yeah.
Oh, I
needs
will.
he needs a lot of attention.
Oh yeah, I'll walk him too.
Good.
Al will look at Tom and shrug.
Ellie?
I don't mind if the others don't.
Kriana?
Silence means yes.
Okay, silence means
What?
yes.
Yeah, I'm good.
Wake up, Brianna.
Patrick, you good with this too?
It's been a long day.
I know. Looks like you're fine, Burn.
All right. He's going to turn back to the mother and say, seems like it's okay. If there's any fees or anything that you need taken care of when it comes to him, just swing by the Rhapsody.
Oh, she says, what's the Rhapsody?
The Rhapsody is a nightclub, a dancing hall. Sorry.
Oh, a dancing hall, really? Is that what they call it now? She says, giving a knowing look. Listen, I was very young at one point too, so I know all about these dancing halls. But very well, we'll let you know if there's any additional costs. Probably just food, honestly.
Yeah.
But
We'll
mostly we've just
take care
been
of
giving
everything.
him. Okay.
But
She says.
I wouldn't want to make your daughter cry more than she already has.
Don't want to? Or you
I
do?
don't want to.
Okay. She says, okay. She says, you must not have children of your own, do you?
No.
Listen, sometimes it's important for them to understand boundaries. And we talked with this the second my husband found your dog, that we're going to take care of him for a little while, for a week or two, to post up notices, but she knew that the dog had to go home. She's just being a little selfish, and you're very kind to let us keep him for a couple more days still. But don't you worry about her tears. She gives a wink. That's how they get you.
Fair enough. So we'll be back in a couple of days to pick him up.
Okay. All right. She says, oh my goodness, how rude of me. She says, my name's Patricia Parker. This here is Barbara. She pats the girl's head.
Hi. My name is Thomas. This is my friend Al, Ellie, Patrick, Lavin.
Excellent. Wonderful. And with that, finish up the goodbyes and the introductions.
Yeah.
As they walk away, Al goes, Thomas. Wow.
What?
You never use your full name.
I'll punch you.
Al
Is
just
there
smiles.
a problem?
Nothing wrong at all.
Look,
Thomas.
okay, those tears got to me, okay? I'm sorry.
Aw.
Okay.
Let's just go.
Well, you spend a little. We'll say you spend a little bit of time with Hannibal, and you're able to train him to keep playing with the little girl and whatnot. And but you're able to depart with that, and there you go. Mystery solved.
Woo.
Mystery solved with Hannibal and Falcon. I can't remember what was your. You did name your Rex? That's right. Oh my God, Rex. Good point. What you mean more?
Dust off
mystery.
hands. We're done here.
He's perfectly safe.
Going to get the target like he was before, but he's got the same helmet, so it's okay.
You're
Okay,
free, throws.
Fly! Oh, bummer.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, good point. Soft hands. Okay, I think this is the perfect time to end it. Since Squee has to take off in a few minutes anyway, right?
Sounds good. I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
Sadly, yes, I do.
Oh, getting tired. Okay, fair enough.
I might have indulged a bit too much. We'll
Oh,
leave it
that's
at that.
okay. No, that's all right. That's okay.
I must say that even though I'm super exhausted, this was a fuck ton of fun. I really enjoyed this
Yeah.
session.
Good.
Yeah, the crazy guy.
He was great.
He was definitely a time, yeah.
Ellie needs to learn to at least wear some underwear. Jesus.
I like
Yeah.
She'll learn. She will
Yeah,
learn. She's gonna
about
get her.
that.
She's gonna literally get her ass a publicly indecent suit if she's not careful.
Yeah. God.
Cool.
Anyways,
all right.
Bird.
thank you guys for watching. We will see you
Yay!
guys next week Sunday for another episode of Riffs, and this Wednesday for another episode of Three Galaxies. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.